hit record. Okay. And we will keep it quick because I
Hmm.
have like the 40 minutes or whatever. So
Oh
we
yeah.
won't go too. And also though too, this is meant to be quick and
Hmm.
accessible. So it's not meant to
Right.
be something that feels like you have to dive into your whole soul. Okay.
Hmm.
So hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you or
You
see you
too.
on here. I'm glad that you were curious. So just oh yeah, I should have prefaced too. My first question is what made you curious
Hmm.
about the nervous system screen? So if you want to give that a thought, we're pretending that you
Hmm.
saw this offer and were
Okay.
like, "Ooh, I'm gonna book one of those."
Okay.
So do you want a minute to think about what you would say?
Now I have an idea.
Okay. Just curious, what made you suspicious of
Mhm.
of your nervous system and be interested in getting screened today?
Yeah, well, I feel like I have a pretty good knowledge of like taking care of my body physically with like exercise and nutrition. But the nervous system is something I haven't really been able to dive into, and I've seen other people talking about it, and it made me curious if that might be something that I need to heal and work on in my own body.
Yeah, okay, awesome. I mean, it is like kind of one of those things that becomes a buzzword, sort of. So I'm glad that you're curious, um, because it is something that kind of controls. It's like the overarching thing that controls all of those other things, right? So we can't really make change in our body if our nervous system isn't helping to coordinate that.
Hmm.
So, all right. So I'm just going to go through some quick history things that are sort of, you know, how we would see like if you're talking about a disease or something, which is
Hmm.
not this, but there's like contributing or associated some things that are associated with having a more prevalent chance of having more of a, oh, I should learn how to say this better. I'm so glad that we're practicing. So these things, if you have these different things in your history, it increases the likelihood that you might be struggling with nervous system imbalance. So
Okay.
we're going to go through really quick, and it's going to be so simple. Yes or no kind of a thing. If this resonates with you or doesn't, it might feel hard to say yes or no, but know that if we did work together, we would have a much more in-depth call and we'd be able to go
Hmm.
into more of the nuances. But for right now, just if you agree or disagree,
Okay.
um, have you had a symptom, a chronic symptom, like a pain or discomfort or tension that has lasted for more than 6 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. Um, do you find that you have to spend a great deal of energy trying to avoid triggering any of these symptoms, or you kind of limit your activity or like diet or whatever so that you don't exacerbate these symptoms?
No.
Okay. Um, do you find that so is this symptom like a physical thing, ache or pain, or is it something like a digestive thing or a mental thing? Can you give me just like a ballpark?
Yes. Well, okay, so it's not like a constant like 24/7
Yeah.
pain, but I've had periods over the last couple years where I get this pain in my side.
Okay.
And it is like exacerbated when I've sat in certain chairs for a really long time
Hmm.
or like driven,
Yeah.
between states, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and it persisted for a while, then went away for a while, then recently started to come
Okay.
back, and I was like, why is that? So,
Okay. Okay, great. So things like that are can be so many things. It could be
mhm,
it could be just, but what we're looking at here is our brain is processing sensations coming from our body. We can't
mhm,
experience pain, especially chronic pain, without the nervous system being involved in some way. So that's why we ask about pain. Um, so it sounds like my next question was it's triggered by certain timing or activities, but not necessarily others, right? If
mm,
you had a sprained rib, it would hurt all the time. And
right.
if it comes and goes based on different circumstances, it's more likely that there's other things at play here. Okay,
Okay.
great. Um, so then it goes into do you feel like you have tools for when you're stressed to actually help regulate understand what your nervous system is going through and regulate your nervous system, i.e., like truly feeling like safe and calm versus just trying to react to the situation as they come up?
Yes,
Okay,
I
so
do.
do you feel like you have good tools? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, do you ever feel like using those tools when you notice your symptom?
Yes.
Okay, good. Um, do you feel like you use coping mechanisms when you're stressed? Like other things that, kind of help you just feel good in the moment, sort of
Mhm.
those um, quick fixes versus like actually going through and going, okay, I need to take a deep breath or whatever those other strategies are.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Do you resonate with being kind of perfectionist, people pleasing, any of these kind of fun coping mechanisms? Okay, yes.
Yo, yeah.
And do you feel like your demands of your life feel overwhelming or demanding? Like, do you feel that there's not enough time in the day sometimes, or that
Mhm.
the expectations are too high?
Yeah, probably more. I hope it's okay for me to embellish
Yeah.
here. Um, Definitely feel like there are like I don't have enough time in the day,
Hmm.
but I do think that the expectations that I feel that I can't meet are self-imposed instead of like
Mm-hmm.
an external thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a great nuance. But it still feels when we stress in its simplest definition is when we feel like, sorry, pause. Can you hear Derek and the
like
ball?
just barely, I heard one word,
I
but I
closed.
didn't hear anything else.
So it's so annoying because we don't have locks on any of our doors. So if I need to
Mm.
lock the door, I have to use this like child lock thing, but it keeps the door propped open like 2 inches. So then
Oh,
it's like not quiet. I'm like, shut up, guys. Okay. So going back to the simplest definition of stress is when we feel the simplest definition of stress is when we feel like the demand is greater than what we can adapt to or handle, right? So even if we are, working out and challenging our body and the weights are heavier than what we feel is comfortable for us to lift, right? This is the
mhm,
kind of stress on our body that makes us have to adapt, right? It makes us build muscle and get stronger and things like that, right?
mhm,
So in the simplest definition. So whether that demand is coming internally or externally, it still feels stressful because it still feels like something that your body is
mhm.
not resourced enough to adapt to. So interesting.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to get into some super quick screening things that are kind of like fun physiology tests to
Okay.
see if your nervous system, how it's wired on a very like simple level. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one is you're just gonna, it doesn't matter if you can see this on camera or not,
Mhm.
but we're just gonna stick out your arm to the side.
Okay.
This is your right arm. Okay, good. And looking straight forward at me at the camera, whatever.
Okay.
If your arm is directly out at your side, can you see your thumb in your peripheral vision?
Let me put my hair behind my ear.
Okay.
I don't think I can.
Okay. So then just start bringing it forward slightly until it feels like that's a thumb. Like it doesn't have to be like super duper crisp, but if you can see it wiggling and it's like thumb shaped.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. About how many degrees do you think you're at there?
Closing in on 45, I'd say.
Okay. Okay. So go ahead and relax. We'll do that same thing on the other side. So just sticking it out right at like 90 and
Okay.
keeping your eyes straight forward and then seeing if you can see that thumb wiggling
Okay.
around. And
Okay. I can see it wiggling now.
does it feel a little closer, easier, further towards 90 on that side than it does on the other
Hmm.
side? Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't have to move it as far
Yeah,
forward. Yeah.
exactly. Okay. Interesting. That is another that. So peripheral vision
Hmm.
is a sign of kind of chronic stress,
Oh,
interestingly enough. Okay, we're
that
going to
is
do another
interesting.
one. This one's kind of fun. So we'll go ahead and I'm gonna see you close.
Bring close.
I
Bring
can see
close.
you from here. Okay, good. All
Okay.
right. So just for going up with your eyes, we're gonna do an eye circle. So going up, going around, going down, going all the way to the other side, and going. Great. Okay. And then if you bring your finger
hmm
towards your nose, do you go cross-eyed? I want to see.
Okay, like,
You
but
do it to you.
look at
You
my
look at your
finger.
finger. Look at your
Okay.
finger. I'll be watching your eyes.
Okay.
Okay, good. Nice and cross-eyed.
Perfect.
Able to focus. Great. Okay. The next one is you're just gonna stick out your tongue. Okay. Can you see yourself on the camera that your tongue is deviating slightly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Lucia, I'm working.
Hey, Lucy girl.
Oh, shoot, pulling my hair. Why do you guys go draw chalk on the driveway for a minute? Okay, great. And then the last one is, so now you can kind of see your whole body and putting your hands on your ribs.
Is it
Just
okay if
take
I'm
it.
sitting?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
sitting. And then just take a nice deep breath in and out. Okay. So just from those tests alone, I am
Mhm.
seeing a few signs of your nervous system being a little bit imbalanced here.
Okay.
And what those things are we're looking at cranial nerves, we're looking at your vagus nerve in particular.
hmm
And give or take, this doesn't really impact your day all that much when you think about it.
hmm
15 degrees of difference between, or 45 degrees of difference between one eye and not being able to, fully expand your rib cage. So, but the thing is, over time it does. And what it can show is that your nervous system isn't as resourced, like what we were saying. When stress means that it just feels like something our body can't adapt to, right? So in
hmm
order to be able to handle more stress, we make our body more adaptable. And therefore, it doesn't feel like stress when we feel like we put these demands on ourselves, right?
hmm
Also, when we see these interrupts in the nervous system and see how our brain is processing, and notice that there's struggling in processing or, just those small degrees of not as clear as it could be, not as easy as it could be. This is energy that our body is using, and this is guesswork that our body is experiencing. And so this is actually making means that we're not able to sense our environment as accurately. We're not able to sense our body as accurately, and we're not as
hmm
able to process and respond to the needs that are being put on us as accurately. And that can be adding to the stress of our system. So the really good news is chiropractic helps with all of these things. We can look at all of these things and how they change over time. And if everything was clear and perfect, you didn't have any of the history, you didn't have any of these neurological signs, I wouldn't really be able to help you. I'd say, okay, you're doing great. Your symptoms, your discomfort, I wish you luck. Maybe someone else can help. But the good news
hmm
is that I do feel like I can help. I feel like chiropractic and having a clear nervous system and getting that processing clear and connected, and also getting your vagus nerve, that tone, that regulating side of your nervous system online can help shift you out of that chronic fight or flight. And you can start experiencing more ease, less stress, less symptoms, better sleep, better digestion. When you do eat well and you do exercise, you get to see those results quicker because your body
hmm
is adapting and in that state that's able to adapt. So, one other thing, if you were, if whatever the most distressing experience you're having in the
hmm
last like month or so, and you could see anything change, you can wave a magic wand that would magically be fixed, which you kind of did. Magically be fixed. What would that feel like in your body? What would that feel like in
Mhm.
your life?
Um, I think just kind of like a weight off my chest. I know like for a while now I've struggled a lot with like getting up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sure is probably a symptom of all of this.
Yeah.
But then that makes everything else in the day harder. Like then I'm rushing to get to work. Maybe I'm late for work. I
Hmm.
didn't do my hair or something silly, but
Hmm.
that makes me feel like less put together, or I didn't pack my lunch, so then I eat something unhealthy. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
domino effect. So being able to find a way to improve that would be probably have so many positive effects in my life.
Yeah, so I'm hearing you say waking up feeling like you're excited for the
Mhm.
day and can handle everything and you know what you got to do and you're feeling confident and prepared rather than tired and fatigued and like ugh, feeling like your body just wants to rest and lay there.
Mhm.
Being in survival mode chronically is very tiring physically on our bodies.
Yeah.
So being able to enter and shift into that rest and digest, getting really good quality sleep, um, I could see how that would make it so that you spring out of bed in the morning and you maybe even have extra time to start working on some of those other goals or start doing like a morning routine that feels super
Yes.
nourishing and great, right?
A morning
Um,
routine would be
but you've got to
wonderful.
have the energy. You know, when you don't have the energy, you're just pushing into that should. I should do this. I gotta do this.
Mhm.
And it's like, with what time? With what energy? When? Right?
Right. Yeah.
It's just adding more stress to our system because we're overloaded already. So when
Hmm.
we increase the capacity of the system and we have more energy, and we have more breathing room and we have more ease, then we can start to add those things and they feel really good and they feel like a privilege and we get to do them rather
Hmm.
than feeling like should things.
Yes.
All right, Emma. Well, this chat has been great. I don't want to keep too much more of your time. I know that we're all busy and full with our lives, but I do really think that chiropractic could help you. I would be so happy to support you with your goals. And so I'm going to send you a follow-up email with just some recommended next steps.
Okay.
And if I don't hear from you, then, I might follow up in a few days or something like that just to see how you're doing and what you're thinking. But it was lovely to talk to you today. And yeah, if you have any questions for me about before we end the call,
No, no questions right now. Everything sounded wonderful, and it does sound like it would probably help me a lot with some of the things I've been struggling with. So thank you for all the information.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the thing too that people might fear is that it's this whole other undertaking, right? Like, how does doing a whole other thing, like starting a chiropractic care journey, like when you're already so full, how is that going to help? But like I said, we're creating reserves of energy, we're creating space. And the thing that you don't have to worry about in my office is I'm never going to be, I know what's going on, right? That's why we have these
Right.
talks. So
Hmm.
I'm not going to be giving hours of exercises and not giving more of those should things right now. Right now we just get to focus on getting your nervous system so that it has more of that bandwidth. And so it doesn't have to feel like it's a whole another undertaking that you're taking on at this time. So
Hmm.
I'll check in with you soon. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and we'll talk in a bit.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. F.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, great.
Oh my God,
Thank
my foot is
you.
so asleep.
You're like, how long have I been sitting here?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Right. I don't know if you'll notice it when you go back through, but I moved my leg and my whole body twitched because it was
You're like, ah. Okay, that was
literally.
longer than 15 minutes, obviously, but we will pare down and
Okay.
edit
Yeah.
and also it was kind of nice because I did go off on some tangents that I probably
Hmm.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
but those were also good things that I like want to be able to say, so then I can turn those
Hmm.
into like clips. You know how like people who do
Yeah.
podcasts like share clips of them like talking to people and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, this was like a clip from something that really happened." Like, cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well now we can just catch up casually.
Yay.
Okay, I'm gonna stop
Perfect.
the recording.